It never fails. The drivers and riders on the Mickey Thompson circuit bang on each other all season long. And even after 8 stadium races, the championships are still to be decided. And they're as close as when they started the season back at Anaheim. The best example is in Ultracross. Sean Kalos and Larry Brooks both ride for Yamaha. That's where the teamwork ends. Sean crashed in that last race at Mile High Stadium, closing the gap to 1 point with Larry Brooks and opening the door on a great final round here in Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Stadium racing, Mickey Thompson style, is next on ESPN. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with Ralph Shaheen, and we are down to the final round of the 1993 Stadium Off-Road Racing season, and a lot is at stake, Ralph.
Boy, there really is. There is still a Drivers' Championship to be decided. Take a look at the points for the Grand National Sport Trucks. As you can see, Rod Millen has a pretty good shot at it right now. He will probably lock it up here tonight, but the battle is for second. Ivan Stewart and Rick Johnson tied for second as we go into the heat races tonight. The old veteran against the young lion. This will be a war between those two.
Rod Millen needs only 10 points to mathematically clinch the championship, but the battle for second, as Ralph pointed out, is going to be hotly contested. And of course, we're still going to be focusing our attention also on the Ultracross battle. This, Ralph, has turned into a 1-point contest between two friends.
Can you believe this? We've done 8 rounds. These two riders have been the best of friends since their mini bike days, and as Marty points out, just 1 point between the two of them. They are really getting tense down in the pits as well, Marty. As you know, being the best of friends, neither one wants to lose out to the other. So they will be really going out of here tonight, hammer and tong.
Well, the one thing we should also point out is Yamaha has clinched the Manufacturers' Championship, so the team orders are off the board. These two will be able to go after each other. Let's get ready for tonight's first race. Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural. Proud to be your bud. And Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. And by Valvoline.
Let's take one lap around Candlestick Park. As you leave the starting line, you get hard in the gas early because it's wide open through turns 1 and 2, through the rhythm section, and lean on the guy to the outside of you as you sweep through turn number 3. Over the jumps and hard on the brakes for the first of the 2 hairpins at turn number 4. Back on the gas, quick on the brakes when you get to turn 5. As you get out of 5, you got to get easy on that gas to get the wheels to stick to the ground to rocket you over the jumps and down to turn 6. 6 is by far the most important corner here at Candlestick. If you hit this right, you'll carry a lot of speed onto the fastest section. Out of turn 6, over the big jump, sweep through 7, and you've completed a lap at Candlestick Park.
We're getting ready now for Grand National Heat number 1. The final round of the 1993 season. And the guys we're going to be watching back in row number 4 with the inverted starting position, there is Rod Millen. Remember, he needs 10 points to clinch the championship. In front of him is the battle for second place. Rick Johnson in the number 7 Chevy Thunder. And then all the way up in the next row, there is Ivan the Iron Man Stewart. Those two are tied, 350 points each. And somebody is going to have to give some ground before this night is over, Ralph. And we're ready to go racing. The green flag flies and we're underway. San Francisco's Candlestick Park. And immediately, Roger MEARS Sr. jumps out to the early lead. Junior right behind him. And Rick Johnson gets around Ivan Stewart as they head down into turn number 4.
Already we're seeing a lot of leaning on each other as we go through those very tight sections. Some of the drivers going 3 wide as they try to funnel through these very tight hairpins. Now out onto that very fast section of racetrack. As they come out of turn number 6, it is wide open through here. The drivers will not touch the brakes on these trucks until they get to the very far end of the racetrack, down towards the first of the hairpins, right here.
And really, this does a lot for Roger MEARS, that dirt tracking maneuvering. He's an old dirt tracker himself. Now the battle for second place. Roger MEARS Jr. right in front of Rick Johnson. Johnson has the position by 2 spots over Ivan Stewart right now. He is trying to get more ground between he and the Iron Man.
Hard RJ is looking for a way to get around Roger Mears Jr. at this point as we go inside with Rick Johnson. Look how he's driving with just one hand most of the time through those very fast sections.
But up front, Roger Mears Sr. Brother Rick is here tonight among the crowd in attendance, and so far the man who won at Denver is staking a claim to making it 2 in a row.
He has really been on a tear this year. Roger Mears has 2 wins coming into this round, looking for 3. And there is that battle for 2nd and 3rd.
That is Mears Jr. in the number 6. The 7 is Rick Johnson. Rod Millen is right behind him, and Ivan Stewart finds himself all the way back in 5th. That's where he qualified today. He just wasn't getting around the racetrack as quickly as he wanted.
And he's still struggling, but these 2 are doing exceptionally well. And this man is just amazing how well he's getting around this course tonight.
I think I know what Ivan's problem is, Ralph. Take a look at his left rear tire. He's got a tire that is going down. I think it's on the inner liner already. His left rear. We'll see if we can pick it up for you.
Here's that battle for 2nd and 3rd as we keep our eyes on Ivan. These 2, now RJ is not able to really get around him yet. There's a good look at Rod Millen. That Toyota is running fine. Rod uses a bit of a rally style to his driving technique, which is much different than what we're seeing out of Roger Mears Sr. Look how Rod goes through the corners. The truck never really slides as much. You see Rick Johnson got around Roger Mears Jr. He now moves up into 2nd place, and Rod Millen does the same. So a problem for Roger Mears Jr.
And meanwhile, Ivan Stewart trying to get around and up to that pack cannot do it. He does have a flat left rear tire.
Well, he's got to try to get another position if he can, just to stay as close as he possibly can in the points to Rick Johnson as we work our way through the night. Here we are on the final lap, and look at how tight it is. Rod Millen can factor into this right here as they come through that hairpin.
Well, Rod Millen, with this 3rd place finish, will clinch the championship. All he has to do is stay in 3rd. So here is Roger Mears taking the heat win. 2nd place to Rick Johnson, and the championship to Rod Millen as he now clinches the 1993 Grand National Sport Truck title, becoming the first man since his teammate Ivan Stewart to win back-to-back championships, and the Iron Man did it in 1983 and 84.
Well, you're looking at 2 guys. Rick Johnson here congratulating the 1993 champion, Rod Millen. Congratulations, Rod. You finished 3rd in the heat, but I guess you won the war. You must feel good to win the championship back-to-back.
It's been a great year. It's been a tough year, but the Toyota's been real strong. I've had a great team behind me, Cal Wells and their whole group supported me all year and given me the best truck out there, so it makes my side of it so much easier.
I guess now that you've won the championship, the 2nd heat race and the main event, you can really go have a good time and go for it, huh?
Well, we were trying hard on that one. The championship I sort of disregarded. I wanted to go race by race, and it's working out. The track is great here tonight. It's the fastest track on the series this year. A little hard to pass, and but some great guys to get past, but it's going to be great for the next heat in the main.
He's a happy guy. Back to you guys.
Well, just part of the 500 free tickets that the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group distributed to the Bass Ticket Foundation. This is a group here in San Francisco that tries to take underprivileged children to different types of events. They can be cultural activities. They can also be sporting activities like tonight's off-road racing championship. It's a great program. The Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group, happy to be involved. 500 young people that wouldn't have been able to see tonight's action are here thanks to the Bass Ticket Foundation and the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group. Time now for the American Racing Custom Wheel Sport Utility. And in this heat, you're going to see Tommy Croft. And Ralph, he has been on a tear 6 in a row.
Tommy Croft has been absolutely amazing. 6 races in a row, as you said. Since we got to Seattle, he's the only guy to get a win. The only 2 other people to claim wins this year were Christopher Neal and TJ Clark.
We're ready to go racing. The green flag flies, and heading through turn number 1, Brian Collins, Chris Neal, side by side. And the Jeep, the number 2 of Larry Knoll, tries to take over 2nd place.
Christopher Neal, don't forget, is one of the only other 2 to have gotten a win on the tour so far this year. So he is a strong contender. And we've got one machine up on the hydro barriers as our cars sweep through. There you'll see him.
Yeah, that's Tim Lewis in the Jeep. He is up on the hydro barrier high-centered, so he's going to be sitting there for the remainder of this race.
Big problem for car number 2. That is, of course, Larry Knoll. Larry got hung up, and we're inside with him now. He got hung up coming out of turn number 6.
Boy, right now, Brian Collins sees nothing but red behind him in the 2 Jeeps. Tommy Croft and Larry Knoll, and they get into each other.
And then into Collins, and they're going to spin him around. That could make the difference. They're going to force him right out of the picture.
Well, this is a contact sport. Sometimes rough driving will step in and say, too much contact. We'll have to wait and see if there'll be a ruling.
Well, that puts Larry Knoll out front and Tommy Croft right behind him.
I just saw the penalty flag go out on Larry Knoll. So rough driving did call a penalty, and it looks that Knoll is going to be sent to the box, and now it'll be up to Tommy Croft. Yes, there goes Knoll into the box. He'll have a penalty of probably 10 seconds right here, which will put him effectively out of the running for the championship in this heat, but his teammate takes over.
Yeah, he'll return to the field running in about 6th position, which is a long way back from that nice first place spot he had. Flag is out now, and we'll have one more lap to go. And again, it looks like Tommy Croft will just continue to dominate this division.
So it is Croft, Brian Collins, and then the number 23 of T.J. Clark.
Boy, I thought for a minute there, Marty, we were going to have something outside of one of those bright red Jeeps sitting in a victory lane here with our sport utilities, but not at least in this heat race.
Now, there's no doubt about it, that full course yellow really hurt Brian Collins, but it has given the heat win the opportunity to Tommy Croft, and the Tomahawk takes advantage, winning again, and that'll set up his chance to set history in the Mickey Thompson Series if he can capture his 7th straight main event. Tommy Croft, your winner in American Racing Wheel Sport Utility.
Here's a look at the contact that took place in the hairpin between Brian Collins, Larry Knoll, and Tommy Croft. Collins just gets hung out here in the white Porsche as Croft and Knoll go to work on him. He gets hammered from all angles, gets pushed out wide, and goes from 1st to 3rd in one quick corner. We'll take one look at it from another angle. As you can see, the number 2 machine of Larry Knoll got crossed up coming off the jump. That put him into the side of Collins, and here comes Tommy Croft. He gets inside, muscles his way through, and takes the lead by a quarter panel.
We're ready now for heat race number 2 in Grand National Sport Truck action. I'm Marty Reed along with Ralph Shaheen and Bart Kendall. We're in Candlestick Park, San Francisco, the final round of the 1993 season, and there are points positions still at stake. We told you right after heat race number 1, Rod Millen had clinched the championship, but look what's happened to 2nd place. A 10-point margin now. Rick Johnson has over Ivan Stewart. Rob McCachran only 10 points ahead of Roger Mears. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th places are still up for grabs in the 1993 Grand National Sport Truck Competition. On the front row will be the 2 Dodges of Jeff Ward and Walker Evans. Danny Thompson and Jimmy Johnson will be in row number 2, and then Ivan Stewart and Roger Mears Jr. in row number 3. The green flag flies. That is the number 11 of Jeff Ward on the inside of his teammate and boss, Walker Evans.
Inside we go with Rick Johnson, and you can see him asking what is the deal as the battle continues up front.
This will bring out a full course yellow as we've had a 3-truck collision down in turn number 3 that involved both the Chevy Thunders of Jimmy and Rick Johnson and the number 4 of Roger Mears.
Watched in the middle of the pack as the Chevy trucks get together with the Mears gang in front of them. Things will get jammed up in a hurry. Jimmy Johnson with Roger Mears Jr., they get together. That throws Jimmy Johnson out of whack. He gets involved with Ivan Stewart and Roger Mears Sr. as Jimmy goes tumbling. His teammate runs right into Roger Mears Sr. From the in-car, this is what Rick Johnson sees. All he sees in front of him is a big red Budweiser truck.
All right, here's how it's going to be on the restart. There you are on board with Rick Johnson. The 2 Dodges, Walker Evans, Jeff Ward, 1st and 2nd. Then Roger Mears Sr. Then in 4th place, Rob McCachran. 5th is Rick Johnson. 6th is Rod Millen. 7th, Danny Thompson. And 8th place is Ivan Stewart. And he needs a lot of ground to cover. Walker Evans, Jeff Ward down through turn 3. Mears trying to look inside on Ward for second place. Can't make it stick. Big contact. There goes
two
Ward.
upside down.
Ward and Mears both going over. And it brings out another full course caution, and we'll wait to see if there's any penalties handed out in this one.
Roger Mears Sr. in the number 4 tries to get inside of Jeff Ward. In comes Rick Johnson. They all get together, and Wardy and Mears Sr. go upside down, and squeaking through brilliantly is the number 3 of Rob McEachran.
Ivan Stewart's got a bit of a problem. The Ironman, you're going to see how strong the Ironman is. Here we go. Technology on a fast track. This is called rip this thing off so I can go racing. Now, I don't know. He's steering with his legs. He does this on the freeway. I've ridden with him. He's got both hands up there trying to peel this thing off, and he's turning the truck with his legs. And the big black flag has been given to the number 2 of the Ironman, Ivan Stewart. Listen to the crowd. They'll give him a big round of applause. They love the Ironman in San Francisco. Here's the restart. The 2 Dodges still in front. That is Walker Evans and Jeff Ward. Ward did not cause the rollover, so he gets to stay in that position. Third is Roger Mears Sr. Look at Rob McEachran on the outside, trying to take 2 positions in one corner. Does not do it. He gets one of them, though, and he looks like he may get inside of Jeff Ward here as they turn in through turn number 5.
McEachran has been driving very aggressively. Look at this battle going on back here. That's Wardy in the 11, Roger Mears Sr. in the 4, and Rick Johnson in the 7 machine. And this is the battle up front from first and second. Walker Evans, your leader in the number 5 Dodge, and coming up behind him, the Ford Ranger, driven by Rob McEachran.
There is the battle between Mears and Rick Johnson. Look at Rod Millen coming through. He's going to take a position away as well. Meanwhile, McEachran is closing down up front on Walker Evans. There is the difference between first and second. This time by, there will be 2 laps remaining. Does Walker Evans have enough horsepower to hold off the Ford of Rob McEachran? Remember, these 2 used to be teammates several years ago. Nothing Rob McEachran would love to do more than to beat the old master at his very own game.
Well, there is no doubt about that, and he is certainly driving hard enough to find a way around Walker Evans. The thing about Walker, though, is he has got such a thick book on experience that on a racetrack like this, he can make it very, very difficult for you to get around no matter how hard you are charging. If anybody's going to be able to pull it off, though, this kid and Rob McEachran just might be able to do it, but he's going to have to get a lot closer than that and not make such mistakes as he just did there.
He just slid into the hydro barrier, scrubbed off enough speed that he fell about 4 truck lengths back. Now that is 3rd and 4th. That's Roger Mears Sr. He's got a loose hood as well. If that flies up into blocks his vision, he'll be black flagged.
That was Rod Millen running with him in the number 1 Toyota, the new 1993 champion in this series. There's that battle again, and you can see that hood flopping around on the red Budweiser truck.
It's a showdown between these 2, Walker Evans and Rob McEachran. It's Dodge versus Ford. Way back in 3rd is Roger Mears Sr.
The bobble just a little while ago, as they went through that section about a lap or so ago, I thought was going to make the difference. But look how McEachran is close back up, and they're going to have to contend with Roger Mears Jr. They bump in there a little bit, Marty, and that is not going to be enough. With that bump, that will allow Walker to steal away.
54-year-old Walker Evans from Riverside, California, takes the checkered flag and wins heat race number 2 at the final round of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Championship here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Don't forget to mark Sunday, December 26th on your calendar, 3 p.m. Eastern, as we'll look back not only on the 1993 race season, but the last 10 years in a decade of racing on the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Tour. That's Sunday, December 26th. Fact is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers.
Many of you might be wondering how a beautiful grass field that you see behind me here in Candlestick Park is transformed into a racetrack for the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Series. Well, as I take a couple steps to my left here, you see here construction is underway. They're putting in over 700 truckloads of dirt. That's 25 million pounds of clay-based earth that they bring in, and believe it or not, they do this in only 2 days. Now, some stadium managers and coaches of the football teams are a little bit nervous when they find out that all this dirt might be on their pretty little playing field. But believe it or not, in 11 years, there hasn't been one complaint about how the field was left. Quite a testimony to this portable chunk of Baja we're racing on tonight.
Let's take a look at highlight action from Super 1600 Heat number 1. Ralph, this had a little bit of everything.
Just after the halfway point, as you saw our flagman with the crossed flags, watch the number 1 of Jerry Welchel as he was chasing down Gary Gall. Welchel charging as hard as he could from second place, gets hooked and goes flying. Spins it around on the rear end of the car, over twice completely, and finally comes to a rest down in turn number 3. And Gary Gall went on to claim the checkered flag in heat number 1.
If you thought heat race number 1 had a lot of action, we're going to show you what happened in heat race number 2 of Super 1600.
And the number 8 machine is Kevin Smith, and alongside is Aaron Hawley on the 16, and they became really close friends in this heat. They got hooked up. He rolls right up on top of Kevin Smith, and they just rolled all the way down to turn number 5 like that before finally coming to a rest. As they did, Ed Martinson rolled by. He would finish second, but it was Jimmy Nichols in the number 10 who claimed the win.
We're ready now for heat race number 1 in super light competition. Ralph Shaheen, Bart Kendall, I'm Marty Reed, and the man on the front row sitting in with the Nature's Recipe team, that's Jeff Ward.
Yeah, the multi-time champion on 2 wheels, who is also running in our Grand National Sport Trucks, is going to do a little super light racing.
Final preparations being made. Greg George has our onboard camera for this action in heat race number 1 of super lights. The green flag is out and we're underway. A total of 11 vehicles in this race. And oh, contact right off the bat involving Greg George off to the right side of turn number 1. And that is going to put him well back along with the number 98 of Peter Robertson.
Yeah, Peter Robertson. They were all bunched up, Marty, as they got off the line as we're inside with Greg George. There's Peter. He's still stuck up against the hydro barrier. But they were all bunched up coming off the line, and a little slipping and sliding, and somebody got out of whack. And you're looking at the number, well, that there is the battle for second and third, the 88 and the 13. The 88, of course, is Shannon Millen, and John Sarna in the 13.
This is going to be interesting to watch Greg George try and work his way back to the front. So far, he has picked up 1 position. He's about to take over 2 more. There he is on the right-hand side of your screen, and now you can see how much he has to go to catch up to the front pack. Now, the leader right now is Rick Geiser in the 47, followed by the number 5 of Joe Price. Price got a little bit of smoke coming out of the back end of his machine. Oh, we have a huge crash on the front straightaway, as 3 vehicles are involved, including Greg George, who was trying to work his way up.
John Sarna in that as well in the 13. And the other machine, Marty, I can't get a number on that at all. It looks like maybe the 88 is Shannon Millen. As they come back to green, see Shannon in the 88. She runs right up and just nips Sarna's wheel. And that's all it takes in open wheel racing.
It's amazing that the vehicle was still able to continue, but it is still out there running at the back of the pack. And we are back underway, and you can see that nothing has changed as far as the leader is concerned. It is still the 47 of Rick Geiser.
And Greg George sits in 4th place after all of that, and he's about to move up to 3rd with this inside move he's trying to make.
So George has just taken over 3rd. Here he comes right by you at that moment, and there is the checkered flag for Rick Geiser. Greg George will finish 3rd. Joe Price will finish a strong 2nd, as this was an action-packed heat race in super light competition. Millen still got a smile on her face despite a big spill. Bart, how's she doing?
She looks okay to me. You had quite a ride out there. What happened?
Yeah, I tried to squeeze in on the outside of the jump, and unfortunately we tangled wheels in midair, which threw me a bit off and into the barrier and into the sky. It was Quite a wild ride.
What you remember of it, you'll be back for the next heat race, though, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. I finished, I think I went to 5th, so I'll be on the 5th row in the main event. So hopefully try and keep things on the ground and reach for the first place instead of the stars.
She sounds real sweet and nice, but she's a tough lady.
We're ready now for the main event, four-wheel ATV action. This crowd at Candlestick Park having a great time tonight, the final round on the Mickey Thompson Tour for 1993. And the big news is Nicholas Granlund did not qualify for the main event. He had an accident in his heat race. He does not make it. He came in tonight second in the points. He'll finish probably down around 3rd or 4th.
That's an amazing story. 18 other riders did transfer through as you take a look at them, but unfortunately for Nicholas, he will not be a part of them.
Doug Eichner is the man on the front row. He is the points leader, number 6, and he takes the early lead. If he stays out in front, it's his championship.
The man to keep your eyes on, though, is the number 2 of Greg Stewart. He started 6th, and he will be coming through the field. You can bet on that.
Stewart can only play the role of spoiler. He cannot be a deciding factor in the championship, as he is well down in 7th place coming into tonight's action. The other rider we'll keep an eye on is number 1, Mark Earhart. He's the only other rider with a legitimate shot to get the championship from the number 6 of Doug Eichner.
Stewart is just at the back of your screen. He sits in 5th and is closing rapidly on 4th. By the time we get down to the hairpins, he will be challenging for that position. There you see him, the number 2. Stacked up back in there. Stewart is the rider we've been talking about the last half of the year, who has been so strong. Was a winner at Denver, finished 2nd. The race before that at Las Vegas. That very pretty riding style of his has really brought him to the front of the crop here on the Mickey Thompson Tour. Back up front with your leader. Yes, sir, Doug Eichner.
Eichner about a 5 machine length lead over the number 3 of Gary Denton.
A 2-time winner in his own right. Eichner claiming checkered flags at Salt Lake City and Las Vegas.
Denton closes up a little bit through the hairpin section. In fact, he closes up a good deal, and then all of a sudden, like shot out of a cannon in the straightaway.
Stewart is down. Greg Stewart has crashed, Marty. There you see him. He was trying so hard to overtake 4th place. He got out of shape over the whoop-de-doo section, the rhythm part, and he went flying over the handlebars.
Right now, as we look at the action, that is Mark Earhart back in that pack. Battle up front, you see the number 6 of Doug Eichner. The battle really is for 2nd and 3rd. 5th place is held down by Mark Earhart. That will not do it for him. He has to win and hope that Doug Eichner drops back.
Charles Shepard, the number 5, has moved himself up into 2nd place and is closing rapidly on our leader.
Charles Shepard, a former champion on the Mickey Thompson Tour.
And he is shy of a win here this year, has not found a way into victory lane, but he did win here at Candlestick the first time we raced here back in November of 1990. And he is charging hard for the lead right now.
Oh, he sort of high-centered that rhythm section. Lost a little bit of time there, but rallies back. Charles Shepard. Charging Charlie, doing a pretty doggone good job right now.
Well, he has settled down a little bit. He knew he had a shot at him, and he got out of shape. So now he has settled down a little bit, setting up another charge. Here it comes to the inside.
He won the championship in 1990. Right now, he can play the role of spoiler. I'm sure Mark Earhart would like to see Doug Eichner pull back into his clutches. But boy, all of a sudden, look at the lead. Oh, as our leader, Doug Eichner, got very loose coming over that jump.
Earhart has moved himself up into 4th, just at the top of your screen. And look at the line that Shepard is running, way out into the outside, trying to use as much speed as he can, sweeping through there, now down to the hairpin. He'll try to get to the inside, but no room there.
Doug Eichner trying to do it in style. He doesn't need a victory to clinch the championship, but he is riding as hard as he can.
Oh, here comes the move from Shepard. Oh, he tried to get inside of him again and couldn't make a move at turn 6.
White flag comes out one more time around, and it will be a championship and a victory for Doug Eichner. Charles Shepard, the only man who can deny him the win.
And he's riding out of the cushion there, Marty, trying to get something to hook up, and here comes a strong move.
And Eichner gets wide, and yes, Charles Shepard dives in front of him. Can he take the position back?
He got hung up there.
Oh, what a move by Eichner. Can he close the door? He does. Doug Eichner is going to win the race and the championship four-wheel ATV at the last stop at Candlestick Park, and that has got to be one happy racer. Doug Eichner, what a race with Charging Charlie Shepard. They put on a great show, but there's your winner and new champion for 1993. All right, to set the stage for the main event in Ultracross, let's go back to highlights from heat number 1 and watch number 9, Sean Kalos.
He started in 8th, but quickly moved his way up into 3rd with that nice move right there, and then came back shortly thereafter this and made a pass very similar to take over 2nd place. Once out in front, he held on to 2nd, while this rider here, the number 2 of Kyle Lewis, took the checkered flag.
Now remember, Sean Kalos came into tonight's action with a 1-point lead over Larry Brooks, and he finished 2nd in his heat, so the pressure was on number 3.
And boy, what a ride did he have as he was chasing the 2 in front of him. Watch this. The leg gets out from under him, and he face plants himself right in the dirt coming up here around home plate. He picks the motorcycle back up, gets going again, does not lose a place, holds on in 3rd, and ends up finishing 2nd to a hard-charging Ronnie Lachine.
We're ready for the showdown in Ultracross, and this is the main event, and the whole season boils down to this. Sean Kalos comes into the final race with his teammate Larry Brooks leading by 2 points. Can you believe this, Ralph?
2 riders who have been best of friends since their mini bike days, and now they come down to their biggest national championship fight, and they're going to settle it right here at the stick tonight. There you see them, number 9, Sean Kalos, and number 3, Larry Brooks. But look right behind him, that number 33 plate, Ronnie Lachine. I think that might be the spoiler as far as the win here tonight in the race.
Well, those are the 2 heat race winners, Lachine along with the number 2 of Kyle Lewis. But all eyes will be focused on the number 3 and the number 9. The green flag drops. The bungee cords are flying. Oh, and a big spill right in the very... Oh, a big crash right at the start of this race involving Tracy Monterone as he gets run over. He was in the front row, went down hard, and he is being attended to. The race continues, and they have got the bike out of the way. We'll keep you posted on Tracy's condition. I don't know if they'll have to stop this or not, Ralph. They've got a lot of room. He's over to the side.
Well, the good thing about this form of racing is that with the waving yellows, the riders can go all the way to the far side of the racetrack, continue the race without any further damage to Tracy, and Tracy is up and walking around, so that is a great sign.
So that is the best news we could pass along. Now let's get back to the battle at hand. 37 is the leader. That's Tyson Boland.
And coming through the field, you'll see the number 3 there. That is, of course, one of the riders that we're keeping our eyes on. That is Larry Brooks. And the ironic thing is, Marty, that both Larry Brooks and Sean Kalos are former winners of Ultracross events right here at the stick. Larry Brooks won in the opener in 1990, and then in 1992, it was Sean Kalos who made his way to victory lane.
Well, Brooks is 5th. Kalos is 8th right now. And that would be enough for Brooks to take the championship, but I think there's a lot more passing yet to be done by both those riders.
And Tyson Boland, the rider who is leading right now, is of course the winningest rider in Ultracross history with 9.
Definitely on the line.
your leader back up front, Tyson Bolin, making his way around onto the high-speed section. Remember, they run in reverse here.
Larry Brooks has just taken over third place.
So Butch Smith falls victim to Larry Brooks, and now it's up to Sean Kalos to dispose of him as well.
Kalos is running fifth. There you get a view, and now back up front with Tyson Bolin.
Eric Hilton on bike number 63 runs right behind Tyson. He sits in second place. There you see the gap back to second. Not a whole lot. And now you see closing in rapidly is number 3 on the no-lean Yamaha. That, of course, is Larry Brooks. There's first. Here is second. That's Hilton. There is third. That's Brooks and Butch Smith. And there is Sean Kalos.
So third and fifth, the magic numbers right now. That would be enough to give Larry Brooks the championship if that were to hold up.
The number 2 and the number 8 that you saw were Kyle Lewis and Scott Myers. They're in contention here as well.
Now remember, our figures coming into this showed a 2-point differential. You get points for passing, you get points for finishing order. So a lot is hinging on what Larry Brooks can do. I'm surprised Sean Kalos doesn't appear to be charging as hard as I would have expected him to.
Well, there you see him right there, number 9, Sean Kalos on his no-lean Yamaha. And coming up behind him is Kyle Lewis. Now, wouldn't that be something if Kyle Lewis, his teammate, would catch him and pass him? And Marty, that might happen. Remember, there are no team orders here.
That's right. Yamaha has clinched the Manufacturers' Championship. Everybody is out for their own ride tonight.
And he was the heat winner earlier on, so we know that he is quite capable of moving through the field.
And Larry Brooks has just taken over second place. Larry Brooks now in second. Kalos still running in fifth and about to be put to sixth, perhaps, by Kyle Lewis.
And that could be the championship right there if Kyle Lewis can make this move. We should point out that there will be some changes with Team No-Lean next year. Larry Ward will be making his way to the Ultracross ranks next year. Larry Brooks and Kyle Lewis will stay on the team, and the Team No-Lean crew will be sponsored by Sizzler Restaurants.
Kalos still fifth. Larry Brooks still second. The laps are winding down. Tyson Bolin out in front. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go. I don't think Brooks has enough time to catch him. The question mark will be, can Kyle Lewis pass Sean Kalos?
Boy, he is giving it everything he's got. Remember, with the new team coming in 1994, Kyle Lewis, who is supposed to be a member of that, will try to do everything he can to lock himself in. Look at the battle in front of them, though. That could make a difference as a couple of riders are banging some handlebars. That could open a door for him.
There's Bolin. There's second place Larry Brooks. Third, fourth, and fifth is the number 9 of Sean Kalos. The final turn. Tyson Bolin on his return is going to take the win. Brooks is second, and it'll be fifth place for Sean Kalos. We'll have to wait for the final point standings to come out to determine our overall champion, but Larry Brooks has his fist in the air. I think he knows he's got the... As the 1993 racing season draws closer to an end, it might be good to look back at what happened over 1993 and also what's going to happen in 1994, and who better to talk about it than the president of the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group, Gary Campbell. Gary, before we take a look at the 1994 season, we ought to look back at 93 because we've had some fantastic racing.
Been great racing, Marty. Mother Nature didn't treat us exactly right in some of the places that we were this year, but we've had some just fantastic racing. I think the idea of inverting the first 6 in our main events based on season points with the Grand National trucks has made for some just superb racing.
Now let's look forward to 1994 because on the schedule right now, 2 new venues.
Yes, we're looking at Michigan in the Silver Dome, probably in the fall, and Kansas City in the spring as an addition to the schedule that we had this year.
And the total number of events will remain the same?
No, we're expecting to do 10 events this next year instead of the 9 we had this year.
It's come down to this, the final race of the 1993 season, Grand National Sport Trucks, the main event from Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Now remember, Ivan Stewart is now in jeopardy of being bumped out of third place Rob McEachran only 2 points behind, 361 to 359. Rick Johnson is just about locked up second place behind Rod Millen, this year's champion.
But Marty, the 2 times we've raced here at Candlestick, the only 2 winners, some guy named Ivan Stewart.
He's got 17. He leads the all-time win list in Grand National Sport Truck action, and being in row 2, don't count him out. Walker Evans and Roger Mears. They are swapping a little bit of paint down into 3. Evans in second place behind Mears, and Ivan Stewart on the outside.
Ivan is, of course, very frustrated from losing that hood in heat number 2. He would like to close out the season and regain a little bit of his respect by winning here in this main event.
It is Roger Mears leading at the end of lap number 1, followed by Walker Evans, Ivan Stewart, then Rob McEachran and Rod Millen.
Roger Mears won the last time out at Denver. He is a 2-time winner on the tour in 1993.
Mears and his son will be back again next year with these same trucks, and they'll be going after the championship. Right now, Roger trying to make it 2 main event wins in a row. He won last time out in Denver. Oh, we've got 2 trucks tangled up back in the pack. The 14 of Jimmy Johnson is now smoking heavily.
Terrible night for Jimmy Johnson, and just an exclamation point on the evening that he's going to have to suffer through the main with a smoking, beaten, and battered Chevy.
Meanwhile, the action back up front. There's the margin between first and second. Roger Mears followed by Walker Evans. Boy, what Evans would give. Oh, and Ivan trying to tuck it on the inside, coming through turn number 4. He can't make it stick, though, as the opposite direction 180-degree turn gives the advantage back to Walker Evans.
You can see how much smoke is coming out of Jimmy Johnson's truck as our drivers try to negotiate through that section. And look at Ivan Stewart go flying literally by Walker Evans.
What a daring move when you make the pass in midair.
Boy, is he determined. Look at him go. Here comes Ivan Stewart right up on the backside of him now.
They slow down coming through. I don't see full course yellow anywhere.
I don't understand this, Marty.
I don't understand it either. The lights are not flashing. Roger Mears has slowed down, and everyone has slowed down behind him. The only truck that we see is Jimmy Johnson stalled over on the far side of the track.
And look at, they're trying to wave him through, but I don't understand. And look at here goes Rob McEachran.
He's going to outfox Ivan Stewart. I don't know what happened.
Can you believe that?
They all followed Roger Mears' lead.
Marty, I am nowhere near as old as you, my friend, but in the few years I've been doing racing, I have never seen such a thing.
This has never happened before, and right now, Rob McEachran would take over third place from Ivan Stewart if this were to hold up in the final standings.
That is unbelievable.
Roger Mears slowed down for the broken down vehicle of Jimmy Johnson, and everybody followed suit.
Well, here comes Ivan. He's charging again. Ivan is going to try to get around the youngster, Rob McEachran, but that Ford is working real well. I'm still dumbfounded by that, Marty.
I think everybody is, and I bet you Ivan Stewart's just kicking himself.
Well, I'll tell you, at this point, if Roger Mears can survive that and get lucky enough to get through that type of a situation, I'd rather be lucky than good on any day, and that might be enough for Roger to win.
All right, let's set it for you. It's Roger Mears first, Rob McEachran second, Ivan Stewart third, Rick Johnson fourth, Rod Millen fifth. But boy, the action between Ivan, here they come, down the straightaway.
He is really gunning. He pumped and banged his way by Rob McEachran. He let Rob know he was there and he was coming through whether Rob wanted him to or not.
And McEachran trying to come back.
Now, can they catch up to Roger Mears?
Oh, McEachran puts a nice move on the inside on turn 4.
And here comes RJ and Rodney Millen. Oh, this is a great way to close out a fabulous season.
Mears has got to be loving this. These guys are banging on each other and letting him run away.
The longer they fight side by side, the harder it's going to be to make up the ground up to Roger Mears.
White flag is out. One more lap for Roger Mears. On board with Rick Johnson as he is in fourth place, trying to reel in Ivan Stewart. Ivan is in jeopardy of being bumped out of third place in the final standings. Lap traffic could play a factor here.
Here comes McEachran, Marty. He is trying to set up Roger Mears Sr., and they do have the slower truck of Jimmy Nichols in front of him.
Not going to be able to do it. Mears has just got too much straight line.
Ivan, one more time.
Ivan, trying to move on the
One more
inside.
challenge.
Will it be Roger Mears? Yes, the checkered flag for Mears. And Rob McEachran second, Ivan Stewart third, Rick Johnson fourth, Rod Millen fifth. What a win for Roger Mears Sr. to cap off the 1993 season.
Some people say it's impossible to tell.
It was your 13th career win, your third of 1993. Congratulations on the victory, but I don't know any other way to ask this. What was going on when you guys just about stopped on the racetrack?
Oh, well, we had a yellow, and the yellow lights were on the backstretch, and that usually means a full course yellow, so we all slowed down. And just luckily, somebody standing along the side of the course waved me on, or they'd have passed me.
Because up here, we couldn't see any of that, and Marty and myself were hunting all over for yellows, and then when Rob McEachran got on the gas, we thought you were done.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I didn't realize that till I just seen it, but yeah, I didn't know till I rounded that corner right there. I seen an official standing there started waving us on. I thought, oh my gosh, this isn't a yellow.
Well, this Budweiser Conoco truck has been running so strong in the second half of the year. Can you maybe win a championship in 1994 with it?
Well, I'm sure we can. If we'd have started out the season like we've ended up, I think we could start the season next year looking real good. And I really do want to thank Budweiser, Conoco, Yokohama, and Bosch, all of our sponsors, and especially my team.
Well, the 1994 season is just around the corner. We'll see you there.
Very good. Thank you.
We also want to congratulate our 1993 points champions, Rod Millen in Sport Truck, Larry Brooks in Ultra Cross, Jerry Welchel, who clinched along with Greg George at our 8th round at Denver, and Doug Eichner in a great battle in four-wheel ATV, and Tommy Croft, who did it in style, winning his 7th in a row. There are your champions for 1993. Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing has been brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural. Proud to be your Bud. And Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. And by BF Goodrich TA Tires, when you're ready to get serious. In-car cameras made possible by your friends at Chevrolet, American Racing Custom Wheels, Goodyear, and Nature's Recipe Pet Food. Bud Trackback, sponsored by Budweiser, the barrier camera compliments of Dick CPEC and Rancho Suspension. This has been a presentation of Bud Sports in association with ESPN.